everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie, 12 Mighty Orphans. So it's about a high school football coach who is haunted by his past, or whatever, mysterious past, starts coaching 12 different orphans to a championship and rallies the entire nation, evidently. I don't know. Sounds very interesting. 6.8 on IMDb, but only 836 people rated so far. Luke Wilson is in it, and Sheen is in it as well. That's all I recognize right now. But Treat Williams is in it. Okay, so I'm sure there's others. But let me get into it, find out what it's about. It's an hour and 57 minutes, 58 minutes long. Find out what it's about, give you a better idea, and then let you know what I think. Stick around. I'm kind of excited. I'll be back. Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. What? Never mind. Want to do a quick check-in here. We're watching 12 Mighty Orphans. We're at the 50-minute, 19-second mark. Sorry for that blooper. Anyway, we're not even halfway through. My daughter wanted popcorn, so I had to pause the movie to make her popcorn. So here we are. I'm checking in anyway. So far, so good. Luke Wilson is a new coach at an orphanage. So he comes to an orphanage. We're not really so much about his past yet at all, but he comes there to help these kids. Not only him and his wife teach at the orphanage. I mean, talk about a good couple. But he also becomes the coach of the football team. Now, they never had a football team before this, so he's got to rally the troops to want to play football and then petition the district to have the team. So, of course, these are and then they have to test to make sure they're eligible, and that's how there's 12 of them. And they're smaller. They're not, they're not organized. This is their first year. You've seen stories like this in the past, where they have to overcome all these odds to be a good football team. And that's really what it's about, but it's done back in the 40s or 50s, I want to say, maybe the 40s. And, he's trying to win the trust of these kids, trying to be a mentor for them, and he's trying to help them be successful in football. And that's really what the whole plot is about. And at this point now, he's, the team doesn't have trust with each other. They don't believe in themselves because they're orphans. And so now he's got to come up with different ideas on how to approach the game of football. And, his daughter gave him a little hint, and now he's changing his approach. And, we're starting to see the tide turn a little bit. But here we are, only at 50 minutes. There's over an hour left, so there's a lot more to go. I'm sure there's going to be more ups and downs, but so far so good. Very, I don't want to say heartwarming, but you know what I mean, motivating, feel-good movie so far. So we'll see what happens from here on out, and I'll check in if anything interesting happens, but if not, I'll see you at the end and tell you my final thoughts. Stick around.
This must be win.
Hey everybody, we're at the credits of 12 Mighty Orphans, and I have to say I really enjoyed it. Some of the things that I think I failed to mention in the beginning, or one of the biggest things, is this is based on a true story. So I thought it was, but I wasn't 100% sure, so I had to Google it. Which, like, the first Google that you get is this website. Now, I had done this, 3/4 of the way film, so it didn't spoil it for me, so I wouldn't do it if I were you until you watch the entire film to see what happens. Because you don't want to spoil it. And it didn't. I didn't catch anything that I shouldn't have. But, I mean, basically, they break down in this website what, details are actually true and what are false. And just, high level, I'm going to say 90 to 95% of the stuff in this movie are true. And the ones that are false are just small things, you know what I mean? So that makes it even, that makes it better for me. I always interested in true stories made into film. Really, how far do they bend it? Well, this site helped me realize that, everything that you probably enjoy about the film is basically true, for the most part. And one of the things that I always ask for, or always, like to see in movies based on true stories, is at the end, I want to see pictures of the real people. I would like to see that. I like to see them next to the actors. And then blurbs on what has happened. Well, they highlight the coaches and the 12 orphans. So you get to see all the actors, and then what they really look like, the real people, and then what has happened to them since this movie has happened. So and that's inspiring to see what these kids have gone on to do, since this movie. You know what I mean? Since their time at Messianic Orphanage. It's a pretty accomplished, all of them. It was like, it was like phenomenal. So very inspiring there. One thing, the only thing, and I know I'm being nitpicky here, the only thing I wish they would have let us get to know each one of the 12 a little bit better. I know that's hard to do. They spent 2 hours making this whole film, and I can't think of a way that you could reduce the film. I wasn't really thinking that much. I'm sure if I rewatch it again, I might be able to pick some things out. So you can't really make it any longer. But if they could have worked that in just a little bit more so that you would feel more connected. I mean, you're connected to some of them, but I think that piece would have been awesome. A nice little addition there so that you really care about each and every one of them, and it doesn't have to be everything, but a little bit. How did they become an orphan? How did they end up at the orphanage? What's going on? That kind of stuff. And I think that little piece would have put this way over the edge. I mean, not that it was. I mean, still, for me, it's at least a 7. I forget what the 6.8 on IMDb. At least a 7 for me. I like Luke Wilson. I thought he did a great job. Everything was good. Robert Duvall has a little cameo in it. I thought that was pretty cool. Oh, and one other piece. Newman, I forget what the guy's real name is, but from Seinfeld, I just had it there and now it's gone, so I'm not going to look it up. But he's in this, and he's like a bad character. So I'm not quite sure. He worked for the orphanage, and at first I thought maybe he was the principal, or what I mean, like the dean or something like that. But I'm not sure that's the true. So, but he's a disciplinarian. I can tell you that. So, so it's really, like these guys are trying to get forward. Of course, people are trying to keep them down. But that's just nature of the beast. And this is, again, there's a book. I think it might have been, I don't know what it was called, but in 2008. So this is kind of based off of the book. But again, 90 to 95% of it is true. And, it happens during the Great Depression, just on the screen now. So, the other thing, and how it inspired other people during this time to see these underdogs be successful and, continue to grow. So, really good film. I wish a little bit more. Don't know how you fit it into a 2-hour film. Maybe. You got to figure that piece out, but that would be my only recommendation, other than if you like sports movies, if you like underdog movies, you're gonna like this. I think it's pretty well done. You care about the team and how they do. You could just care a little bit more about the orphans themselves if you had a little bit more insight. But that's all. But the acting was good, and I thought everything was really enjoyable. I don't know. Check it out, absolutely. Again, if you like sports films, if you like this type of film, it's a must-watch. It's like a Hoosiers, if you will, which is a great movie. But they were underdogs and they were undersized, and they had to come up with different ideas on how they're going to be winning. They had their own Jimmy Chitwood, right? That was his name. Hardy Brown is the guy in this one, so they had a Hardy Brown. So, who was the best player on the team? Okay, I'm going on and on. Stop me. Well, first subscribe if you haven't already, and then go watch this film if you haven't already. And if you have, let me know what you thought. Was there something you didn't like that I missed? Love to hear it. And that's it. And continue to tune in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.